right. Thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of Cspan Review Daily Breakdown. This is where we take what we went through in the review and present it here, our findings, if you will. So, this might be a little, clunky to get through, but this is the first one. So, here we go, the daily breakdown for the episode June 6th. So we only do open forum one at a time because, well, that's all I can handle right now. I need to, I'm going to step it up. So this is the first one. All right, this is our main analysis board. You'll see up here in the right-hand corner is the date of the review. This reviewed episode score is what we've designed to add a numerical value to the callers, to the sources, and this will reveal whether the show is a left-leaning or right-leaning. So the producers choose what to put on here. The hosts have something to do with it, and how many calls they let through. So all that we are going to add up into a score, and it will show up here in that little bar down here underneath me in the camera. All right, so let's go ahead and start this breakdown. Sources. All right, so we count the sources on the review, and if you're not familiar with the review proves that we watch it. It's an hour long. Some of my commentaries in there, but that proves that we watched it, we counted it. And then this show is the results from the review. So people can't say, oh, well, you didn't watch it. Well, I did. You can go back and watch the whole hour. Trust me, I did. And that's why we do it. And then that's why this show exists, so we can distill it down into just the data points. And it will get better and better, and I'm going to add some clips, and we got all kinds of cool stuff. So I really appreciate anybody that's watching this thing and my 21 subscribers. Thank you. All right. So we counted 5 print, 5 network, 4 government, which we count as hearings or statements or something that we might call or something from the government. There's individual statements like President Trump. We have, let's see, let's pull that up. Donald Trump, we had the New York Times, we had a House committee, a House Agriculture Committee. So those things we call our government. Individual, Mark Warner, Donald Trump, Chuck Schumer. And online would be Axios or this government exec, Reuters kind of thing. So, and that'll get better. But all of our reviewed episode score are based on All Sides. I don't know if you're familiar with that website, but they present they calculate a score, and then that score we use in our RES meter. So I know it's kind of confusing, but it'll sort of make sense, hopefully, later on. All right. Now the calls. 22 calls were reviewed in that one episode. The breakdown was right down the middle. And in the RES score, we're going to give... So if it's Democrats, it's negative, just because that's how it goes. If it's Republicans, it's positive, but I don't think it's ironic that that's the way all sides use it. Anyway, independent will also be giving a half a point score. So during the review, I'll go through there, and if they sound a little left-leaning, if they sound a little right-leaning, that's how we are going to add that, because otherwise, if we have 10 independents and we don't add a score, it's just going to be pretty damn boring. So, all right, moving on, we got the big map. This is where we're going to highlight everything that happened. So we got 22 calls, 11 states were hit, 11 unique cities. All right. We'll go to the big map. There it is. Struggle streaming. All right, here we go. And there we go. There's, what is this? It's the world. All right. And here is C-SPAN Review, the big map. We put all these points in this map. Sam from Bakersfield, Mary, and all these. So here's the cluster down in Florida. We had one in the Virgin Islands down here. Calvert from the Virgin Islands. See, we can even pull up the date that we have all the information for these pins. And what's going to happen, hopefully over time, you see up here, is we're going to have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of pins on here. And it's going to show us where these calls are coming from. More importantly, who C-SPAN is allowing in, because they have call screeners. They also have a role to play in how this show goes. So that's the big map. And then back to here's our reviewed episode score. So the RES is calculated from the callers and sources used during the episode. Sources ratings are based on all sides media bias data. The final score is then attached to the host's career RES. So the reviewed episode score for this show, the calls were down the middle, but the sources are all left leaning. All of them. And that is amazing, actually. I couldn't quite believe that. So we'll start cycling through here. The Wall Street Journal. Let's see, I can't really. Wall Street Journal had a 0.33 plus. We call Donald Trump was the GOP politician. New York Times, negative 2.2 according to all sides. We're going to put that in the meter. Another GOP politician, we call that Todd Blanche. We'll add him in there. NBC, negative 1.8. They lean left. You can just see the meter moving. Chuck Schumer, we know he's a Democrat politician. That's -1 on the score. Washington Post leans left, negative 1.8. CNN, negative 1.3. Another Wall Street Journal made it on there. It's plus 0.33. Another Democrat politician, that was Mark Warner, brings it back to the left. And then there was the New York Times again, a negative 2.2. Now we get to the callers, okay? So we had 6 Republican callers. That's going to be +6. And now we got negative, the Democrats, so that was 6 Democrats, as -6 on the scale. And then -3 independent and +3 independent. So, I mean, look at that. It pinned to the left. I mean, it's almost off the scale. I mean, that's pretty crazy. And I will go into I got more slides for all sides, but I really want to just kind of get this video up, get this thing moving. This is part of the pipeline. The review will show that I did the work. This will be like the highlight reel. And we got all kinds of funny bits, and when things happen, and I'll start highlighting a lot of the callers. I'll put the clips on here and some of the audio and things like that. This will also be a place to do some rebuttal things on the sources that they used. So there's the score. We're going to call that, look at that, to the left. So the host was Mimi, and she gets negative 4.7 attached to her just because she's the host. So if you're a pitcher for the team and your team loses, well, that's a loss on you. You know, you're so that's how we're going to um, start basically building this data on this show. Excuse me. And this is like this as a snapshot, not big deal. 10, 20, 100 of these shows put together, then we'll see what the average is. I got some ideas. We're going to do like baseball cards for these folks. So Mimi will have her baseball card. Respectful, but it's going to be funny. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be entertainment, you know. But serious, you know. I mean, this is for political nerds. You know, if you're into that kind of stuff, then this is it. So this is the Cspan Review Daily Breakdown. That's it. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Let me know what you think down below. Thanks.